It seems unlikely Rachel Reeves had cut back public spending plans on her list of New Year resolutions, but by the end of a rocky week, it is clear she has the red pen ready. If bond markets fail to settle down at one level, this makes perfect logical sense. The Chancellor has promised not to raise taxes in the near future, after a whopping £40 billion increase announced in October. And her fiscal rules are, as her Chief Secretary, Darren Jones, told MPS, non-negotiable. Last week's market moves, which drove 30-year gilt yields to their highest level since 1998, above 5%, probably had more to do with the chaos to come in the US than Reeves's budget plans. But whatever the cause, if sustained, the jump in yields will push up the interest bill on the government's vast debt pile. And that would jeopardize Reeves's hopes of meeting her fiscal rules, specifically, the current budget balance one, by the end of the 5-year forecast period. There is no doubt that the UK's fiscal position is unenviable. Even before the latest market panic, the Office for Budget Responsibility was expecting the Treasury to be spending more than £122 billion on debt interest payments a year by 2029-30. Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England, once warned that the UK was reliant on the kindness of strangers, specifically foreign investors, to fund its deficits, and therefore subject to the whims of the markets. It is all the more true post-pandemic, given the sharp surge in government debt. When the mood of those strangers swings against the government, it is hard to ignore. Some analysts even fear investors may be influenced at the margins by Elon Musk's obsession with what he seems to think as the dire state of the UK. Take all this into account, and imposing a tougher spending squeeze on Whitehall departments in the later years of the upcoming spending review than Reeves sketched out in the autumn may seem a reasonable response. It is certainly the one government officials have been pointing to, alongside dark hints about the benefits bill and the need for public sector pay restraint. Yet, as the Resolution Foundation pointed out on Friday, New York spending cuts are not just digits on a spreadsheet, but will have material implications. See last year's decision to scrap the winter fuel allowance for the vast majority of pensioners, also made with fretful markets in mind. The think tank warned Reeves against taking permanent and concrete policy decisions with real-life impacts on households, in reaction to bond market movements that may turn out to be temporary, urging her to keep calm and carry on until the autumn budget. Doing nothing at all could rile the gods of the bond markets, risky for any chancellor, as Kwasi Kwarteng can attest, but perhaps there is a sensible halfway house that involves promising action at the autumn budget, should borrowing costs fail to come down, rather than fine-tuning on the basis of a market tantrum.